Hello there. My name is Eric, and I'm not a very big Star Wars fan, but I do have a theory to share about Star Wars, which is something that I noticed recently, and is a theory that I haven't really seen anybody talk about it. So it's a very new theory, and it's about Episode 7. The theory is that I believe Supreme Leader Snoke is actually the Jedi youngling that was supposed to have been slaughtered in Episode 3 by Anakin Skywalker. We noticed this basically by the face. They have a very similar facial features, but there are many aspects to observe. First of all, I would like to mention another theory that some people say that Snoke is actually Darth Plagueis. I honestly don't really believe that theory because Plagueis is a Sith Lord, and that wasn't mentioned in Episode 7 in any moment. In order to be a Dark Force user, there's no need for a Sith for someone to turn to the dark side. One thing we learned throughout the saga is that to turn to the dark side, all a Jedi needs is to get angry. But to be a Force user, that needs training. We saw that Luke didn't know how to use the Force until Obi-Wan trained him. So Snoke is not necessarily a Sith Lord, but he could very well be a Force user that turned to the dark side. Now, how exactly did he learn to use the Force if that requires training? Other than the Sith, the only people who know how to use the Force are the Jedi, and they were slaughtered in Episode 3. Well, not all of them were slaughtered. Some of them survived, and maybe Snoke is one of those survivors. And maybe he turned to the dark side because he got really angry because he was betrayed by Anakin. Other evidences that we have is that Snoke is about the right age. If Snoke is the youngling that we saw in episode 3, then he's about the right age. He's apparently old, maybe he's like in his 60s or 70s, and that is about the age that Luke is. Remember that Luke was born just after the Jedi Purge, so probably the younglings, if they survive, they would be about that same age. They would be like 7 years older than Luke. Another aspect is the burned face. If you notice Snoke's face, one of the things that makes it difficult to determine his age is the fact that he was burned. Where was he burned? He could have been burned during the Jedi Purge, and what do you know? The Jedi Temple was set on fire. So maybe he was there, maybe that fire burned him. Another characteristic is the name. Snoke has many meanings, but one of them is white smoking remains of a fire. Remain of a fire. He's apparently the result of a fire or something bad that happened, probably the Jedi Purge. Now, here's even more interesting evidence. There's an interesting theory on YouTube that Rey, and here comes a possible spoiler, Rey is possibly the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. I believe this theory. I think it makes more sense than saying that she's either Han Solo or Luke Skywalker's daughter or Obi-Wan Kenobi's daughter. Some people have been saying that. So I think she is a reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. And if we put together these two theories, Rey is Anakin and Snoke is the youngling, this scene in episode 7 makes perfect sense. You see, he got really angry. Now, why was he angry at Rey? What did she do to him? He probably knows that she's Anakin. If that is the case, he would know that she's Anakin, and he wants to have his revenge. And probably that's what he's trying to do this whole time. Probably all his objective, to turn a Skywalker against his family and try to kill Luke. Probably he's trying to have his revenge against the Skywalkers because of what Anakin did to him. So to sum up, there were Jedi survivors. We know of some, but we don't know in the movies. We only know of Obi-Wan and Yoda. But it's possible that some survived, and without the guidance of the Jedi Masters, some of them, or at least one, I don't know, like Snoke, could have turned to the dark side of the Force. And the anger that he felt for being betrayed would have turned into the dark side. Of all of the Jedis that we saw in the first trilogy, the one that most looks like Snoke is the youngling, whose name is apparently, according to Wikipedia, is Source Bending. And we see that his face is the same, it's very similar, a big head, small jaw, a lower lip is bigger than the upper lip, his eyes are a little bit spread apart. So the two are very similar. So that's my theory. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you like it? Share with others.